In his genius, I mean, he's never given credit for it. Everyone talks about the good old days at CBS and Edward R. Murrow and all the rest of it, and of course those are the seminal events in his career and his life. Fred Friendly, the greatest producer probably ever. But less known is his desire to integrate television news, because it was extraordinary when you remember that despite the diversity in a town like New York, everybody on television was white. The vast majority, 99% of them, white men. So you had all the news being delivered by white men. It looked like the United States Senate does today. But that was, something that that Professor Friendly saw, and he said, we have to integrate. So he convinced the Ford Foundation to put up the money to fund this program where black and some Latino, but mostly African-American college grads, most of them, some working journalists, but the vast majority of them coming from other fields, teachers and policemen and people of that sort. One was the deputy sheriff in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They bring them together, and we had an intensive 3-month tutorial on how to be a television journalist, all of us sponsored by various local outlets. I was unique in the sense that I was sponsored by WABC in New York, so I started on television in the #1 market in the city, in the country. That was extraordinary, but the point is that Fred Friendly was the prime driver for the move to integrate television news, and I was one of the prime beneficiaries, certainly one of the original beneficiaries of the concept. And so I was hired by WABC Eyewitness News as their Puerto Rican. I'm not sure they knew my mom was Jewish, but they got 2 slots for the price of 1. But I started on Eyewitness News as soon as I graduated from the Columbia program. A couple of things happened after I graduated the Columbia program and started at Eyewitness News that brought Fred and I back together over the years. I remember so that program ended in 1970. I remember in 1973, I was working on a documentary that would later win the Kennedy Award called Migrants Dirt Cheap. I wanted very much to use Edward R. Murrow, Fred Friendly's Harvest of Shame in my documentary to show an arc. They did theirs in the late 50s, early 60s. Here, I'm in the late 70s. What, if anything, had changed in terms of migrant labor? And I reached out to Professor Friendly, and he helped me out. And then he remembered me. And by that I mean, I don't mean remember me. Obviously, he knew and remembered our time together. But he reached out to me at a time when I was already a daytime talk show host in the 80s, and already the subject of various pejorative profiles and all the rest of it. And he just, he recognized me as a journalist first and foremost, and he gave me, and Ruth, his wife, a great deal of respect and affection, and included me in many journalistic contexts, including his famous seminars. And in the seminars, he often gave me a hard time or emphasized the tabloid aspect of where my career had gone or the emphasis on it, but also did so with love and respect and affection and inclusion. So I never, I never underestimated and always don't hesitate to give credit to Fred Friendly for, he made me, more than anybody else in the media establishment, part of the establishment in a sense.